We're on our 8th day of a worthiness challenge. So, my topic today will be about discernment and how unworthiness affects discernment. I swear, the more I talk on this thing, the more things start connecting the dots, and I'll be like, God, dog, Misty. Anyway, but I do believe that's what the God inside was challenging me to do this for, to further make things make sense and connect dots. Okay. It's saying the quiet part out loud that just like, dang, I should have been saying it out loud. Maybe it would have connected sooner. But we're here. Okay, nonetheless. So there are times where God will tell me what is happening. And because I always feared losing people or pushing people away because I doubted my discernment. I did. Like, I was like, it can't be. It can't be. It do be every time. Every time. I be like, come on, Misty, what are you doing? When before Daniel was born, right? I used to dream about a baby. And all the remembrance that I have of the baby was like uber smart, uber with it. Like, literally, the baby was a miracle baby, and that's what it felt like in my dreams. That where this baby's gonna come from? But I lived in this house, and it was beautiful red brick, and it was a 2-story home, and because this guy, I'm thinking the guy in my dreams was my husband. I'm thinking, we were having Bible study at our home, and it had this baby boy in the floor playing, and I'm getting food ready, and the man is fixing stuff and passing by the baby, and the baby playing with him, and he playing with him. It's just a cycle. Okay. So I have this dream consecutively. I was 34 years old when I had that dream. Needless to say, by the time I was 41, that baby was here. So I had dreams about the baby, but I also had dreams about, like, who was that man in there, right? So a guy who, our family, his family was intertwined. We were little, and he was my brother's best friend. When we was little, and like a average little sister, she would have a crush on her brother's cute best friend. So that's kind of how that worked. But as we grew up, his life just didn't go how I thought it would have went. So I wasn't interested. And it was every reason for our paths to cross. But every time they would kind of semi-cross, he had another baby. And I was like, so how many babies is he going to have? Like, okay, fine. That just exit out for me because I don't like a man with a bunch of kids. That's not my thing. So 18 years later, this guy and I reconnect. And we start being friends. We were friends for like a whole year and a couple months before we decided to date. Decided to date, and I kept having questions. He kept bringing me. I would like go to Bible study with him at his church, and things. Every time I show up, a little 1-2 will happen. I be like, "What's that?" Okay, a 1-2 will happen, and then somebody will say something, and I'm like, "Why would they say that?" Okay. So I'm asking questions. I'm like, "Hey, with all the single women at your church, you never tried any of these women?" Oh no, right? Okay, but it was this one woman. This one woman. It's the way she would look at us. It just felt like she had been intimate with him, and I asked him. I said, "Are you sure you ain't be intimate with this woman?" Because the look that she gives is very much saying, "Girl, what are you doing? That's my man." That's how she would look at me. With a made up smile. I was like, I don't know about this. So, of course, asking questions. Now, I've learned from the past that when I keep asking questions, it's more to what's going on than what is being told to me is going on. Okay. So one day in particular, after Bible study, he did something like really weird. Like after Bible study, he walked me to the car and he was grabbing me and kissing me, and I was like, we don't normally do this at the church, That's weird. And at the corner of my eye, her and another lady was standing by her car. And the way she was looking, because normally if your people kind of move out the way. No, they stood there, and something was like, "Misty, look up." So I looked up. She was looking at us as if she had saw a ghost, like she was mortified. Like, what the hell is happening? So that had stayed on my mind for a little bit, and I said, "Okay, babe, we need to talk about this because this is on my mind." And we had told each other we would talk about everything. If something come up, talk about it. I want to talk about that. I was like, "You sure?" And then he was like, "Well, she liked me, but it's just some things she did that I just didn't like." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying to myself, y'all done shook them sheets up. I see that. You and that woman have been intimate with each other. You can tell she is looking at him like that. It's okay. As time goes by, she trying to be my friend. Somebody I don't like. Because something about it doesn't stay genuine. Something about it says devious. And I felt that off top. Because I felt the other feelings that you have been intimate with this man. So you trying to befriend me doesn't say genuine. It's saying, let me get to know who she is to see what she got that I ain't got or why he chose her. That's what I got from that. So she had a birthday. So most of the people at the church went. So we went. I sat far down at the table because I'm trying to see, So mind you, it's an older lady that go to the church. She sat by me. Oh, she's trying to be my friend. She's trying hard to be my friend. Hard for me to trust her and let her in my life. And it's hard, right? She's pressing. I'm like, they don't know me, right? I don't know them, but they don't know me, especially when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm peeping everything. So then I notice when some things go south, then they loop back. This loop, I kept noticing a loop. So then in 2017, my life hit a tragic point. I lost my baby girl. She went to the hospital to have a baby. And 5 days later, she died. And that little boy you all will hear me talk about or running around here, his name is Daniel. He's the product of that birth. And so on a Friday, she dies. On December 15th of 2017. No, yes, she died on the 15th. Daniel was born December 10th. And my world changed forever that day. I mean, my world just changed forever. She died on a Friday. The Saturday, I have to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning to pick Daniel up. He has to have a 4-hour car seat test, and then he comes home. A home that's not even prepared for a baby in no way. And so I am working at a hospice facility, a hospice coordinator at the facility. And some things had been happening, there. Like they had a deaf dog, and he kept trying to be around me, sniffing me. And I'm like, and it was like, are you sick or anybody sick? And the first thing I thought was my mom. All the time, he was smelling death on me because it was my baby. So weird. But anyway, weird but not weird. So, made everybody scared of that dog. Boy, when Dana died, that dog would come to that facility, people would run. Literally run. I don't want it by me. I don't want it by me. But that dog called hell after that. Po doggy. But when Daniel was born, I knew that relationship wasn't going to make it. I knew it wasn't going to make it because the way I parent, I don't play when it comes to parenting, okay? So I knew that relationship wasn't going to make it, and I tried. And the God inside kept saying, you're going to have to end this. So Daniel was born January 8th, to be exact. I ended up having January 8th, 2018, having a talk with him about behavior that I noticed that I just didn't like. Now, mind you, August 18th, 2018, we were supposed to get married that day. Okay. This is in January. So, I'm seeing the signs all the time that something ain't right. I am grieving. When I tell you I am grieving, I am grieving. I am crying at night, crying in the day. I am so disconnected from Daniel. I'm disconnected from myself. Then her funeral comes up, the 22nd of December. I am beyond broken. I find myself just on the floor and couldn't get up. I just couldn't get up. I couldn't lift my head. I just couldn't get up. And all my female cousins surrounded me so that nobody would take pictures of me and stuff like that. And so they surrounded me, and they was saying, hey, If you look up, we're right here. We're all right here. We're not letting people take pictures of you. We're right here. And they were right there. When I finally lifted my head up and was able to sit up, they were all around me and protecting me. And I just was not okay. So once I was able to get up to my feet, they was like, that guy that had Daniel, that's the guy you engaged to? I was like, mm-hmm. One of my cousins said, oh, that's interesting. So mind you, I hear it. But the tears, they're coming. So I finally get to the car with my best friend, right? She nervous because she never seen me like this before. So I'm crying. So my uncle comes to the car and he was like, baby, I hope you feel better. And I just never, Uncle not used to seeing you like this, right? He's like, I'm just so sorry, baby. He was like, but that man that had your mom with him, that's the guy you gonna marry? I was like, yeah. And he was like, no, you're not. Hate to break it to you, baby, but you're not marrying him. Oh, no. And I look, he was like, no. You cannot marry him. Nah, you cried out, get it out, but you ain't marrying him. And he was just so adamant about that, like that. So, of course, get home. Phone ringing, phone blowing up. I just do not have the capacity. I just don't. And I noticed, like, that, we were like this. And then we just quickly started to do this. And I started to see some things. And I said, okay, it's all right. So the God inside had already told me, you're going to have to leave him. He ain't going to get no better. It ain't going to change. You're going to have to leave him. So I said, hey, we need to talk. This ain't working. This just really not working. Like something happened at his son's graduation to where the daughter was like, I'll let that baby fall. Just stuff that was going to make me act out of character. So I was like, baby, go ahead and leave these people alone. So I was like, this ain't gonna work. This new baby in this situation, it's just not gonna work. We ain't gonna make it. So he thought he'll give me a little time and I'll change my mind. I did not. I meant what I said. I was not subjecting Daniel to his kids and that foolishness. Because the me that they was going to end up getting was a me they really weren't used to. And yeah, no. So this is how my worthiness played into that. I allowed myself to be gaslit, knowing it was a lie. No, I'm knowing it's a lie because I can see. So I allowed myself to be gaslit. I allowed myself to be half loved. I allowed him to flaunt me places with people that made him look like he the shit, because he did say that. He said, anytime I took you places with me and when we go together, people treat me like I'm a king. I always wonder why that. And I was like, that's interesting. Then when we would go up to his daughter's school in Abilene, like if he had questions or whatever, I would be like, hi, and I'll speak and get things done for her. And he was like, it's like you don't have to beg people done. I was like, my energy didn't come to beg. I come here to get it resolved, and that's what we drove up here for, is to get it resolved, right? But he would always wonder, like how are you able to, and I was like, that's really not a good thing. when a man feel that way about you, because somewhere is gonna be some power play happening in there. Okay, so I seen the power struggle finna start where kind of, in hindsight, it was there. It just wasn't as a guy. So had the signs the whole time God was saying, this ain't for you. This ain't gonna work. This ain't for you. Kept going with it. Kept going with it. You know what happened? The same woman, when we broke up, we broke up in, we were broke up in March. 3 months later, he was already with this woman whom he said that, oh, I never been with her. And I kept saying, she look at you like she have feelings, like already together and about to be engaged real soon after that. And they got married. They're married right now to this day. Okay. But the whole time, God was telling me what it was and what it wasn't. And I did not listen. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I put him here and I put me here. That's what I did in that relationship. And I'm thinking, oh, he's a man of God. He's a this. He's a that. He's a other. He's a whoop, whoop, whoop. And he's a goddamn lie, a manipulator, and a deceiver. That's what it was. And I put him here when I should have been there and he should have been here. And that's because the truth would have been so much easier to see. Okay? So that's what my worthiness played with my discernment the whole time. And that ain't the only time it happened. It happened almost 8 years later. Almost the same, not almost the same thing, but it happened. But when that happened, it shut me down. I went inside. I did not date for 3.5 years. Nothing. I just put all my focus, my everything into Daniel. And truth be told, still don't date properly or in a healthy way. Because in my head, I'm like, before I allow myself to be somebody's damn fool, baby, I'd rather just live my life on my terms and be able to go on with that. But my worthiness was tested. And I failed big time. So we'll talk about that on part 2 of being unworthy. How feeling unworthy of good things plays on discernment to keep you safe. So beware for part 2. Namaste.